Welcome back to the Social Seller Podcast with Conor Paulsen, where we interview the world's highest quality communicators, professionals, business owners, creatives, and everything in between. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're a high quality communicator, there's a good chance you're living a lot happier life, but you're also bringing those opportunities into your life almost like a magnet. My guarantee is that on this show, we only interview people that I, one, look up to, and two, that I know are going to continue to kill the game for years to come, and I want to make sure they're on your radar. But what I've learned is by asking the best questions, we get the best responses, and that's what the highest quality communicators, our social sellers, are all about. Let's hop inside to the Social Seller Podcast. Welcome back to the Social Seller Podcast with Conor Paulsen. I am beyond pumped today. This is a special guest. Now, as you know, this has been years in the making, creating the Social Seller Podcast. What is the social seller? It goes way beyond selling and living a congruent life, right? That our values and our actions and our goals are all aligned, and treating people well, right? In all aspects of relationships. Now, our guarantee is to be fully transparent, unfiltered, to really dive into, role models and people I look up to and what got them there, right? A lot of times getting into the shit that most people aren't willing to talk about. That's why I'm so excited, Wes Watson here today. And
Good
we're just
shit,
gonna hop
bro.
in.
Good shit. I'm excited, man. This is a hometown. I'm glad you live right down the street from me, and it's lovely day out.
I love it, man. I love it. Let's hop in. Now, who is Wes Watson? For anyone that doesn't know, you are the founder of GP Penitentiary Life, Wes Watson, on YouTube, a channel that has well over 360,000 subs, which is unreal. As we're growing a YouTube channel, I'm realizing how much time and content that takes. You have a fast-growing fitness coaching brand. You've done over 10 years in prison. You're featured on London Real, New York Post. I watched the Bedros interview this morning, and there's a whole list of others that I'm just not going to mention today. Now, you've gone from prison to penthouse living. Mr. Wes Watson, thank you for being here. You were born in San Diego. How did you get to here today?
I mean, literally, this came from me being frustrated in the penitentiary. As I was changing my life, I looked around me and seen the fucking just flaws of these fake hard men. Face tats, completely covered, fucking idolized by society, but so fucking weak. Weak as I was. Having the fucking, all the vices, the drug addictions, bad diets, fucking poor understandings of ways to comprehend workouts, nutrition, everything in between, and then just poor excuses of men character-wise in general. Obviously not all of them, but I just sought to change myself because I had this vision. And my only fucking vision was me walking up to a grass field. My son comes running up to me. I grab him. I'm in great shape. I have great demeanor. My energy is congruent with the person I'm becoming. And I pull up in something nice. I'm always dreamed of being successful because I came from fucking nothing. But, I just had this vision and how I was going to create it. So everybody is always chasing some fucking career or some path when I'm always chasing vision. So I just see what I see, and I believe that's our path that we're supposed to walk in this life. Like I say, talent hits a target nobody else can hit, but genius hits a target nobody else can see. Your vision is your genius, so whatever you're seeing is what you must create. So obviously, I would use deductive reasoning, see this vision, and see how I would fucking recreate this person. So obviously it was fitness. Obviously, it was a lot of self-help and personal development. Yep. And then obviously it was fucking finance. So it was family, fitness, finance. And I got them all very quickly. I've been out 3 fucking years. And last year we did about $7 million in revenue with 5 employees and helped fucking thousands of people. And now we've branched off from just coaching people personally on their macros and training and mindset. And we've actually built it into a business coaching brand because once you learn something, you got to give it away. What I've told people is what I know is our fucking purpose in life is to create the man you admire and then give him away. So what I've sought to do is take away all my pain, my internal pain, my anguish, the areas that caused me trauma and pain my whole life, cure those and then teach others to do that. So for me, growing up poor, it was obviously money. My parents always had bad energy around the first about the fucking rent and fucking money. And that caused me to go sell drugs and want to cure this problem for my parents because I could feel it in them. Yeah. Regardless of if they knew they were pushing it on me, they created that fucking trauma on this child that's like, why the fuck do we have these money? What is this they're talking about? Why are they like this? What's all this stress about? What's this bad energy about? So I just went out at 14. I started at 11, but by 14 I was fully slanging. Slanging weed, slanging fucking coke, everything. But I was like a bigger kid. So my brother was 2 years older. So the people were 16, 17 that hung out with him and were partying, and they think I'm like the same age, but I'm not. And I'm supplying the weed, supplying other stuff. And, by the time I was like 18, I lived in the fucking condos right here, Harbor Club.
Okay.
I was one of the first people to out of my friends to move out. I drove an Escalade to fucking high school. I've never not been able to make something happen out of nothing. But that's what I'm trying to teach people is the negative route will never produce a positive result. So I've shown both ways. I've shown that I made myself very successful before the penitentiary, a negative way, and it does not pan out because karma's real, karmic debt is real. And I went in and I sought this massive introspection. I saw my flaws, I unmade them, and I came back out positive to teach people these ways that really fucking work, that are aligned with universal laws, universal truths, and live a truly conscience congruent lifestyle. Motherfuckers just are trying to play by the book and have this hack that they're trying to just make money. They're trying to just be successful. They don't care about how they fucking do it. And what I'm just trying to teach everybody is get good at something, become valuable, and success chases you.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Damn, you bring the energy right off the bat. This is what I want to unpack what you said right off the bat, right? Because you had a vision, and that clear vision, that is not a vision that most people have experienced. Now, my best guess is you've done a lot of inward work, and from our brief conversations, I know that. What is the difference between a vision and a passion? Because once you say to a young person, that's pretty much a loaded question to say, what are you passionate about? Go chase it. Or even that vision, what age did you start having that vision? And how did you create it in the first place?
Man, I'm just getting the chills right now. Just our vision is our guideline, but we are the path. And so you're going to drop the ball a million times if you're not creating it to a T. I don't care how successful you are if you're not physically looking in the mirror and proud of yourself. So we have to hit all these things for our energy to be congruent with the person that we're projecting. So alignment with your authentic self comes from tapping all these points. I mean, if you don't have to chase all this shit, it will come to you. You will be the top of your area if you actually work on aligning yourself with your vision, with what you see. I mean, your passions come about, they come and go. I used to be a pro snowboarder. I was one of the biggest drug dealers. I mean, and now now I got into fitness in the penitentiary. I was always into fitness. At 15, I told my mom, drive me down to fucking the bookstore, drive me to the bookstore. She's like, why? I'm like, I need this Arnold encyclopedia of bodybuilding. I'm going to be jacked. I always saw myself being jacked, but that's the problem. Society's telling people that it's wrong and superficial to want to look a certain way, and it's fucking wrong to want a certain amount of fucking money. All they're doing is limiting your vision, limiting your power, and the person who can unbiasedly create their vision is the one that's going to really walk their path in life. I used to not show my possessions. I was very successful. I literally was making hundreds of thousands of dollars living at my grandma's house the first year out of prison. And I lived in the same fucking room as my parents on a twin bed, in the same room as my parents at 35. And I'm on a twin bed in the corner. There's no carpet on the floor and the dogs are pissing everywhere. And I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm sitting there like, I'm not going to tell anybody how much money I make until I had about 600,000 or 700,000 saved up. And I said, guess what, you guys? I'm out. I've been crushing it. They didn't know what I was doing on my phone. All I had was a phone. I didn't even have a laptop. Just had a phone, and I was already clocking this much just through a training app and Instagram. But then once YouTube came and YouTube blew up, I went from about 3,000 a month to 15,000 a month. Then when I met up with my buddy who also did prison time in California, he studied under Hormozy. He studied under other people that know ClickFunnels and those types of systems. We put up a web page. My content was fire. Then we had a funnel system to bring the leads in one place. Now I'm just massacring, going from about 15,000 a month to about 5,000 to 7,000 a day, and I'm still living, have no car, and I'm living at my grandma's house on a twin bed, eating canned chicken, till I literally got so far ahead that I just finally was like, okay, I'm out, I'm far enough ahead.
Damn. Holy shit, man. So that speaks to the humble, that speaks to the authenticity to be going through that shit, to be making money like that. That is, most people will never make that in a 3 to 5 year period, right? And what was the first thing you purchased? Was it a
first thing I
condo,
purchased
or right
was,
when you made that?
Yeah, first thing I made was I purchased a car because I had no car. So I just got like an S-Class Mercedes, kept it pretty humble, but I just wouldn't show anybody my stuff. I wouldn't show anyone my stuff. And then I met my wife and we moved out and everything like that. But I wouldn't show anyone my stuff because I was all about the inward work, and I didn't want to confuse the message of my old self who was outwardly validating with his possessions. Because I used to be a drug dealer, flashy dude who had a Range Rover. I'll have all the watches, all this stuff, and I only cared about money. I could buy something new. I could show that I'm powerful this way because there was a deficit there. I never had money my whole life, so I was addressing this deficit in the wrong way. So now I finally just started showing my cars a lot, my possessions a lot, and everything like that because I sat back and I said, we all post and resonate with the fucking quote that comfort is the enemy of progress. And now that I got to this point, I looked around and I saw where so many people have pain, and I said, fuck that. I'm going to make them uncomfortable with where they are financially. And now that I started to make people uncomfortable with where they are financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, the real people who are okay with the hard truths and know that that's their guide to success is addressing these hard truths, overcoming them, they come out in drones and just massive flocks, and I have no shortage of people signing up because I hit them with the hard truth, and then I offer the fucking solution. A lot of dumb motherfuckers criticize, but it's not constructive because they can't offer the solution.
Absolutely. And are you familiar with the way of the superior man? And in it, what you just talked about, they say that as an alpha, and I know you define yourself as an alpha, and I would define myself.
I really don't even use that term. I just think it's
really?
A man should be an alpha. But I like the Jordan Peterson one, which is a man that's capable of extreme violence is a man as long as he willingly forgoes it.
Yeah.
But it's like that's what. If there's no contrast, if there's no conflict, nothing took place. So if you're a granola eating peaceful motherfucker and you don't have a violent bone in your body, it really makes there's no fucking reason to say you're so peaceful because you're not overcoming. Like I'm a straight fucking killer. I went to prison like a motherfucker and I was in there running shit the whole motherfucking time. And I didn't go to prison for 10 years for some cupcake ass shit. It was pure violence. And I've been violent my whole life. But a good man is a violent man. A man capable of extreme violence that willingly forgoes that. So now that's a good man because he's making a conscious choice. Other people are just placating their strengths and standing on them like, oh, look, everyone's talking about peace and harmony. That's the way I am. Well, motherfucker, you need a little bit of what I got. Like, because the thing is we need to create habits on the other side of our weaknesses so that we can be a whole individual because there is literally there's too many soft-ass, comfortable men walking around. It just is what it is. And I don't ever want people to be extremely hard and absurd and rude because rudeness is a weak man's imitation of strength. But I really need people to be more fucking just driven, just hungry. Just hungry and just realizing how grateful we should be and how easy all this is when you get the fuck out of your own selfish desires. Everybody's where they're at because they're selfish desires. Yep. Everyone could be ripped and rich if they weren't so selfish, wanting everything else and to be ripped and rich too.
Amen. You're exactly right. And I'll catch myself. I do that shit. There's times that I know I need to level up, right? Or you wake up every day at 2:45 a.m. I thought I'm the morning person. Yeah. People out here do not wake up early, 2:45. And then I asked immediately, because anyone that wakes up early, it's, okay, well, when do you go to bed? Like, how sustainable is it? Now, you are a man among boys. I'm just going to say guys, right? How the hell do you do that? And how long have you been this disciplined? Yeah, so 13 years straight, I've stuck to this personal development process where I get up at 2:45. It started in the penitentiary because the cops walk at 4. I had to have a workout done before they walked, and I wanted to be on my rack reading. But then I figured out later that the power of 3:40 a.m. is when we're most aligned with our purpose in life. The direct alignment with the circadian clock, it happens at 3:40 a.m. And I didn't fucking know this. I was just writing profound shit at 3:40 a.m. in the pen. And then I realized that I was still doing it out here at 3:40 a.m. And then I see from a lot of gurus and stuff that is the exact time. And it just made so much fucking sense to me what had really taken place. I went on the hero's journey. I went and faced the fucking, oh man, I went and walked through hell and chose to be positive. You know, I could have chose any route. I mean, I'm one of the biggest dudes in the penitentiary. I mean, a lot of dudes in there are sloppy, you know. They don't got veins popping out. They don't understand how to train correctly. And they're just doing burpees and some pull-ups and dips, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
And then once I come in, now I'm teaching them to be better men through and through, character and getting them results, because everything starts off elementary. No one's gonna fucking listen to you unless you're gonna be able to get them something they want. So I know everybody starts off in this fashion. When you got your first paycheck, you wanted to buy a fucking Walkman or a video game. You weren't thinking about generational wealth. And every thought, every endeavor starts off this same way. So with fitness and everything like that, if you're not personifying the teaching, if you're not crazy fucking ripped and above everyone, just fucking miles above everybody in this area, then they have no reason to listen to you. So I would get them their elementary result that they wanted, which I was okay with, because everything starts off that way, which is I'm going to get them to drop a few pounds, show some cuts, and feel better about themselves. And then once we get them further down the path, they realized it wasn't the external result, the aesthetic result at all. It ended up being who they became through that journey. Now the discipline they built through that journey helped them defeat all their true weaknesses, their drug addiction, their anger, everything internal through that discipline we created. I mean, with the diet, 5 times a day, you're choosing purpose over pleasure. Yep. When you hardwire your mind and habitually construct the mind that knows to choose purpose over pleasure time and time and time and time again, then you don't fall victim to your triggers. And nobody's teaching this. Nobody's teaching that discipline is created through your personal development process and then transferred to then overcome your weaknesses, your vices, your addictions, your triggers.
Absolutely. I mean, routine is critical. And what I almost see is that you've optimized your routine because of having to wake up at that time. And what you were saying with the Arcadian clock, that's why Buddhist monks wake up at the exact same time and start meditation for at least an hour, right? Nepal, Tibet. So that makes total sense. That is another level. I haven't meditated at that time. I do want to dive in, man. You've experienced more than most people. And before we hop into like what the life was like inside the bars and how you were leading, what was the absolute lowest point in your life? Was it
lowest point?
Right, like lowest, and I want to feel it, right?
Oh yeah, fuck, dude. This is the worst shit. I had been clean for a while in the penitentiary, and I'd been doing good, and I had not been violent. And then something happened where me and another inmate got into an altercation. I got a A1 write-up, which is a 115 in California is a RVR. It's a rules violation report. This is a disciplinary report. And I got an A1, which carries with it 14 months to like a life sentence in the SHU, which is the segregated housing unit. And the A1 is attempted murder, and the serious bodily injury with the inmate manufactured weapon. And I got the A1 assault charge where the guy, I mean, he got 300 stitches from his lip behind his ear, and his ear was basically flapping. And to me, I was so desensitized by violence at this point, with everyone getting stabbed in prison, murders and all that shit, that I'm like, oh no, it's totally cool. Like, I'm gonna be fine. And then I get to the back, which is the holding place before, because the SHU was overflow. I get to the BMU, which is a behavior modification unit. And then the captain comes and he says, Wes, you got 2 strikes, bro. I actually have 4, but at that time I'm riding on 2 because that case gave me 2 and I had priors, and they just had them ride together. But they said, Wes, you have 2 strikes. And I said, yeah. And he's like, and you're going to get another one for what you just did. So at that point, I was pretty sure I'm getting a life sentence, because they came and showed me the pictures. It looked like it was nasty. And then I ended up sitting in the SHU for about 3 months before the DA didn't pick the case up, but I called my mom. Someone slid over a cell phone, the homie from some Mexican hood, EMS, El Monte Flores, and he slides over a cell phone, and because I come in, I have coffee, I have fucking food, I'm hustling in the pen. Like, I'm hustling. I have everything. Yeah. And they come dropping off my shit. They brought me from the BMU to the SHU, and I walk into my cell. He's like, hey, you want to smoke a joint? And I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And we start smoking a joint, and then here comes Sergeant Slaughter. He's like this fucking dude he manages the BMU. He manages the SHU. And he comes up, he's like, Watson, you want your property? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm stoned. And he's like, you look way different right now. Because he's seen me for 3 weeks sweating it out in the BMU, doing burpees nonstop, thousands a day, doing push-ups. I just have a floor towel, and I just have a rack. I have nothing else. And I'm tripping because I just got told I'm getting a life sentence. And then I come back, they give me my property, and everybody sees it. Everybody's in their windows, and the shooter like, fuck, what the fuck? Damn, that fool's got a lot of shit. And he starts unloading my shit. And everybody's like signing to me. They're like, "Hey, I got a phone. I got dope. Like, what do you want?" We do sign language.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm good. And then the homie next door comes through the vent, like by the toilet, and he's like, "Hey, what's up? You want to use my phone? Like, shoot me some coffee. I got you on some hours, you know." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He slides it over, and I'm like, "Hey, mom," and she's like, "What? Where have you been?" And she's crying, dude. Fucking. The amount of pain we put our family through is just so crazy. I'm like, "Mom, I fucked up," and she's like. Well, what happened? I'm like, "I'm in the shoe. I just caught another case." And like, I've been gone for years. The whole 10 years, I didn't see anybody. I didn't see one person of my family, no one for 10 years. And at this point, they have shipped me from California to Arizona to Oklahoma. And I'm in Oklahoma in the middle of fucking nowhere. And then they ship me back to Salinas Valley. But I'm just being traveled everywhere. So I'm calling my mom and I'm like, "Mom, I did something, I'm fucked, like, it's okay, I'm okay." She's like, "What happened?" She's like, I'm like, "This motherfucker wanted some, Mom." And she's like, and I'm pissed, like, and she's like, "Wes, what the fuck?" And I just start fucking, like, dying. And she's like, "You've proven you can hurt people. Can you prove you can't? Like, fuck." And my brother's in and out of prison. I'm in prison at the time. I was always the main breadwinner in my family, and I left him hanging. You know, and it's just, it just hit me that I'll probably never fucking get out of prison. But luckily at that time, not luckily, at that time months before, there was a massive riot, or a month before, a massive riot. And there was 180 attempted murder charges handed out. So that riot, with all those attempted murder charges handed out, kept the DA in Beckham County, or this county, from actually pursuing the case. So they were just like, "Dude, we have too many cases, like, fuck it, you know, like, we're not gonna give you a DA referral." So I just ended up doing the shoe term, which was 14 months. And 14 months, you do 11 months, 8 days in the shoe, which is segregation. And you go work out in a cage with the other guys, you're sounding off, it's real militant. And I've just really fucking thought at that time that I was done, and I'm never doing anything again. And then I got to another prison, the drugs hit. They're fucking the white, the black, it's flowing, and everybody's pushing their shit. And I drank some prison wine, and I got a little turned up, and I did some bumps of some meth, and then all of a sudden I was off to the races, and I beat the fuck out of my bunkie. I whooped some other kid's ass, and I lost my mind, and I just kept going. I was on a sick one, and then finally for whooping my bunkie's ass in another races area, I had to get dealt with. And so I had to get DP'd, which is disciplined, by 2 people. And I swore I was gonna fuck them up. Like, I had beat both their asses before. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck these dudes up, no problem." Like, and then one guy just jumped down, grabbed my legs, and the other one just teed off on me. So I mean, I didn't win, and my face was so fucked up, and I was coming down off the drugs. And that's when I just dug deep into Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Like, Napoleon the Hill saved my life. But Outwitting the Devil landed on my rack from someone just put it there. And then I just started digging deep into it, and it spoke to me so well that after that it was Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And after that it was Steve Siebold, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. And then I just kept going on these books, and I knew they were a calling to me. So then I retraced my steps, and my vision was always to be swole, and I did that, and to get these tattoos, and I did that, and then to absorb these quotes and this wisdom and this self-help, and I did that, and then to overcome this nasty-ass prison term, 10 years not seeing a family member, and just so much violence, so much murder, so much sickness, and to come out to be able to speak to the people that need it the most, which are the people like me.
Wow.
They needed me. They needed me. I had to go through all that. They needed me that bad to where I was the only one who could weather all that, create the physique, create the look. I was being called from above. It was a higher calling, and I was being called to be this. And then I came out as this, and I didn't know who the fuck I was. I just thought it was normal. I got on a YouTube channel, Fresh Out, and everybody heard me speak, and their minds were blown. And after that, I started making millions because I just followed this vision. And I didn't even know. That's why I tell people, follow your vision, because I didn't know what I was being drawn to. The path illuminates as we walk it. If you're just drawn to getting fit right now, go get fit and then see what's next. and then see what's next, and then see what's next. But don't fucking think you need the whole path illuminated before you start it. Imperfect action is everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Damn. Wow. When did you find out that, what the hell are you looking forward to, I guess? And can you explain quickly what the shoe is? Is this maximum penitentiary?
Yeah, that's
is like,
that's prison inside the prison, security housing unit.
You're by yourself.
No,
you're
you
not
have
going
you have a
outside?
cellie or you don't. You know.
Okay. Do you have access to outside?
Yeah, you go outside in a dog kennel, in a cage. So there's like 10 dog kennels, and everybody's locked in a cage. So you go from your cell, you cuff up, you show your asshole, you have to fucking strip out, and then you fucking you cuff up through the tray slot. They walk you out. You walk into a cage. You uncuff in the cage because everybody's so violent. You can't even be the cop can't even come in your cell because these are killers. Like, I'll kill the cop. Like, motherfuckers, like, I'll kill you if you come in my cell. Like, straight up. And so, like, they have to get you to cuff up, or they have to come in just spraying the shit out of you with full gear because motherfuckers, at this point, these are the people who don't give a fuck.
They're probably spending the rest of their life.
Yeah, a lot of them
got
got life sentences and lifetime shoe terms, indeterminate shoe terms.
Holy shit, man. And to not have family, was that because you were in maximum security at times that you couldn't see family, or was it also because, I mean, you had your brother in it too? Was your mom just...
Now, my family just never been that well off financially. They struggle so hard. It's like getting gas is hard. Like, they can't drive to some other fucking place far as fuck away, miss a day of work. Like, they're barely making it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, that's been a cause of pain because I'll write in some of my Instagram posts like the question, just why is the most painful thing in prison. Not the violence, none of this shit I talk about, but just that word in your head repeating itself. Why? Why? And why don't they love me? Why don't they write me? Why don't they show up? Why won't they answer the phone? Not even on Christmas. Why? And you're sitting there like, what the fuck? And it's just torment. And then that alone is so painful. And even I posted about it the other day. And my dad even wrote on the comment section, what the fuck? We were there for you. When are you going to get over this? I got to fight with him. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't get it. Even if it was 1 hour of that word ringing in your head, it felt like an eternity. You were there for me at the end. You sent me some money, some protein powder and shit, and I'm fucking grateful. Yeah. But there was a lot of times you weren't. Just own it, motherfucker. You wouldn't have acted this way if you realized you weren't there the whole time. And I didn't expect you to be. I wasn't even picturing your face when I was saying this right now. I'm like, but, I mean, I get it. But the thing is that's when I just learned to live more unconditionally and live in the moment and just answer their question for them, you know, and just be like, and just understand them and just give them an outward flow of love. Because when it would be hate, when it would be negativity, when it would be why in a manner that is, I'm fucking sending them bad energy, it would only hurt me. So, I mean, I just really realized at that point when we break character with our thoughts, our action, or our energy, we pay for that, and it's karmic debt. With our negative thoughts, actions, or energy, we pay karmic debt, and karmic debt is known as the actual, you're punished with time. So you're punished with time because you're sitting there, say you react wrong to your mom on the phone, you get in an argument with your mom on the phone, and you hang up, and the next 3 hours are taken from you. You're alive, you're alive for those 3 hours, but where's your mind? Where are you? Are you there? No, you're back in that moment still. So those 3 hours were taken from you. And as bad as the moment is how much karmic debt you're going to pay. And so I ended up paying 10 years with what I did to this individual during this drug deal that went bad. It was a drug deal that went bad. I fronted some people some weight, a lot of weight in weed. And then the people, the kids fronted it to someone else. The guy didn't pay. And then something massively violent happened. I still haven't admitted to it, but I've done enough of these interviews where probably they don't give a fuck at this point. And the crazy part is the prosecutor was like, nah, we're going to fuck you over for this. You've been running amok and making your money and doing your shit for so long. Like, no, you're fucked, you know? And the craziest part is on 11/11/11, she actually killed herself, prosecutor of San Diego. She shot herself in the fucking dome. And so it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And then on my birthday, even the kid who snitched on me, he got shot. So, I mean, it's just like the significant dates, karmic debt, numerology, living our purpose, realizing that I was drawn to these things at the start that finally came full circle, and it became the greatest asset. This adversity I faced became my greatest asset because every fucking day I worked on myself and I chose I chose to stay positive, even though I kept fucking up, but I never gave up. And then I've come so fucking far to where I live my dream life, and now I'm working on other people, helping them. And I just rolled up in my Rolls Royce out front. I have a fucking bought a Lamborghini Urus cash. I have an S-Class Mercedes. I live in a penthouse. I have millions of dollars, and I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. Because every day I still wake up with the same negativity and the same pain, and I cure it the same way, which is with this personal development process. When you see me at the gym at that time in the morning, that's part of my process, the reflection, the workout, the reflection, the macronutrients. Staying in line with what they've taught since the dawn of time. That's the process that brings us closest to ourselves. What'd they do since the dawn of time? What'd they do? What did these religions, these cultures, and everybody do that what I'm doing the 2021 version of? They went on extreme treks to find themselves, pushing themselves to their limits. Yep. They sought solitude to find themselves, to seek within, to get some real peace and time with self to reflect. And they fasted. And they fast. All these things bring us closer to our sense of self, to creation, to God, whatever you want to call it. And that's what we're doing now. But we're doing it in a 2021 version where it's very beneficial to us aesthetically, physically, financially, and internally, spiritually, mentally, physically. So, I mean, I've just adapted what they knew back then to be the way to find ourselves to 2021, where we can stay ripped, we can stay financially progressing, and we can have that time in the morning to truly find ourselves and gather our aim for the day.
Absolutely. It goes so far beyond discipline. What are the thoughts that come to your mind when the day starts, whether it was 10 years ago in prison or it's today? You say there's these similar thoughts, right? And we know that thoughts create emotions, right? What are the thoughts for you?
Now, for me, everyone asks me, what's your goal? What's your goal, Wes? What's your goal? And it's always just to not break character. It's just always because if I break character, then my clarity goes out the window because I know I've wronged someone or I've spoken to someone wrong or I've done something wrong. And then I pay the karmic debt. The clarity's lessened. I no longer can see my purpose. I can no longer live in a conscience congruent manner because the vision is blurred. The direction is blurred. It's not as clear. I'm not feeling it from within. I'm not feeling my voice from within. I no longer have that connection to higher intelligence, which the only connection, true connection to infinite intelligence is gratitude. That's the only emotion that kicks the door open. But people don't realize gratitude is action. It's not just recanting that you love your fucking dog or you're grateful that your mom made it through cancer or whatever. Yeah, those things are fucking great. I'm grateful for those, but gratitude is fucking action. The steps you take every fucking day to bring your life from where it's at to where it needs to be. And I mean, a lot of people are just confused. They're just confused about everything that they're doing because society interjected these beliefs and these systems in their head that they're supposed to supposedly follow because if not, they're wrong. And that's why I did so well on all these platforms is because I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck. I addressed your pain in the way that I needed to address it. So I'm your self-talk. Like, what gets someone somewhere? Vision and action. And what builds someone? Their self-talk during times of adversity. So, I mean, this is where we solidify our core beliefs. So I'm giving someone a picture of what could be, which is my life and who I am and how far I've come and where they are. So I'm giving them the picture. But then I'm also giving them the internal dialogue to defeat this and the system to operate from. What people do wrong, all these pussy-ass coaches, these bitch-ass teachers, and these fake motherfuckers, what they do wrong is they don't teach with their own self-talk. And this, I have an Olympic rowing dude who trains one of the top people around here. I said, motherfucker, when you got that gold medal, how were you talking to yourself? Were you talking to yourself how you talked to fucking Sally about her goals? Or why are you diminishing that internal dialogue that got you the gold medal for this person? You're placating them for a sale. You don't want to talk to them a certain way because you want to keep them on your team. But I build fucking savages and get the best transformations because I speak to them exactly and I transfer exactly the self-talk they need to get through these events. The blueprint's very fucking simple. The mindset and the self-talk is what gets us through these times, these transitional times where we're about to crack and negotiate with our lesser self. So the fact is your core beliefs, your deepest core beliefs in your self-talk keep you from the negotiations with the actions that you need to take place in to get where you want to fucking go.
That's a clear depiction of what separates you from other coaches, right? And I think for men especially, that voice is always in the back of our mind. And I think most men don't take action on it, right? There's always going to be that, forget who said it, but that voice in our head is simply an opinion, right? And I think too many of us live a conscious, automatic life. And I was guilty of this up until college and really dove into self-development, that thought would come up. Okay, well, the alarm goes off early, and it's like I can sleep another 15 minutes, right? But by doing that, I'm almost telling my subconscious that I don't care about the vision as much as I know I do. So actions need to align. Now, as a social seller, you have such an interesting background, man. But you have a high IQ. You think, I would say, that you're street smart, and you have the emotional intelligence, too, that backs an IQ. So an individual like you goes into a 10-plus year prison sentence. What separated you from others? How did you start leading? And can you talk about how this system works and how are things separated? Is it based on a hierarchy of I want to be in a gang or not? Is it skin color?
Well, it's amount of time you've done, your institutional IQ, your institutional sophistication, and I just saw routes and stuff that people wouldn't see, but also my program. The way I consistently programmed was everything, and I just made everything non-negotiable. Like every day for 13 years, since I got busted, I worked out, I woke up at the same time, and I did the same shit at the same time all the time. So I saw that as like the height of respect, that at the same time, every fucking day I'm gonna be in the same fucking place. And that's out of respect to all these 250 people or all these guys, wherever prison you're at, that need to use these certain facilities. So it's like, no, this guy's here, this guy's here. If everyone operated like me, it'd be fucking just, everything would be shuffling correctly. But since everybody's so fucking out of whack, like out here in general, there's no order, there's no operation. You can't work with someone who's consistently being spontaneous because of their own selfish fucking desires. No, I felt like sleeping in a little more today. How the fuck do you work with that person? Yeah. Like, I'm the motherfucker who's hired for attitude, trained for skill. So anybody who can show up every day at the same time with a great attitude, I can train them to do anything. So, I mean, the point being is we just instill deeper core beliefs, values, and principles into people so we can work with them at a greater level. And I earned the respect in there because I was just bigger than everybody. I was bigger than everyone because I understood how to track macronutrients given the food I had in penitentiary. And I had a better sophistication. I had done more on the street. A lot of these people came from massively broken homes. They didn't even believe that I had bottle service out here when I was a drug dealer. They're like, you paid $300 for a bottle? I'm like, yeah, and when I get out, I'm literally gonna make millions. Now they all write me and they're like, holy shit, Wes, you did exactly what you said. And I'm like, no fucking shit, motherfucker. They're like, well, they're like struggling to fucking tie their fucking shoes and I'm driving a Rolls Royce. I mean, and I have millions. And I did it all fucking off of what? Providing value from my life experiences. And the same thing wasn't there. I spoke like that, like this and there, like just calling people the fuck out, and I don't call people out directly. I'm talking to my old self. So when I'm like, motherfucker, you got tits, bitch. Like, you got tits, motherfucker. Men don't have tits. They're like, that's awfully fucking rude. It's like, no, that's what keeps me from being the fucking piece of shit I used to be, who valued fucking Twinkies and snacks over his health, and the way he fucking came and fucking just literally brought himself to the table. Motherfucker brings some sloppy shit to the table. Why do they think that's accepted? Well, I put all this work in. Why the fuck do you think you get to sit down at the table with everybody else when you put that little work in, motherfucker? Why don't you have some goddamn respect? And this is the thing, is I take it to a higher level. Like, your son is that, like, dude, the self-talk of someone who purposely let themselves go is so selfish. It's sickening. Like a fat dad at the pool that can't even take his shirt off. He's all uncomfortable. Is he really in the moment? They're the first people to say, no, it's about these moments. Motherfucker, you ain't in that moment. You're picking your shirt out the crevices of your fat. You ain't on the beach with your son really in the moment playing catch. You're worried about how you're being viewed from everybody, every angle around you. You don't get you, though. I get you, though, because I solved your fucking problem, because I had your problem. I was so worried and my self-image was so low and my self-esteem was so low because of lack of fucking work. Why the fuck do you think you earned a quality self-image or self-esteem or self-confidence from what the fuck you did? What, you just inherit? Everybody just gets this? No. People fucking develop this. Confidence is simply a byproduct of consistent implementation. So I'm consistently implementing these things that are important to me to where I'm just going to surpass everybody and be the height of it because it's non-negotiable, and I work 365 days a year on it.
Damn. Thank you for the context, man. Holy shit. I feel like you would not want to show up to prison, serve any term if you weren't. Like, I only see it as like the gym, like legitimately I need to show up like the guys I look up to, like you.
Yeah, just what can you validate with more in a setting like that? Like these guys are, everyone's transparent. You get to see what time fucking Speedy from fucking Shelltown wakes up. And you're like, oh, this bitch, he woke up at 7:45, bitch. And they're like, damn, Wes is up. And I'm always just up reading my book. Mats rolled up, everything's clean, everything's perfect. You know I already hit abs. I'm sitting there jacked. Who the fuck won? Let's be honest. Who the fuck won?
Yep.
And this is what we're doing. We're validating ourselves with our conduct and our ability to produce a fucking result and show that we get what's happening here. We're supposed to be a strong asset of a fucking gang, of a group that has to die for each other. Who do you want? Joe Dope Fiend who wakes up at 8:30? Or do you want motherfucking Wes? Yeah, they want me on their side. Like, that's the reality of it. Who do I want to have my side? That motherfucker. That dude, I seen that dude just murder workouts for 5 years straight without a day off. This dude is intense. And I mean, it's the reality of it. Like, asset or liability, your fucking choice.
Damn, you're exactly right. What separates you? I have never met anyone to date that has gotten out of a prison term and has found the success that you have. Obviously, just all of this backstory, this was years in the making, right? It wasn't like an overnight kind of story. You had a vision for what was going to happen the second you were out. You started building it, correct? Before you were out?
Yeah, before I was out, I was on Instagram, and I saw the first post from Rich Piana, and it was like, okay, this guy's tattooed. This guy's got a good message. I like what he's saying. It's giving me the chills. I feel like I'm feeling good about what he's saying. But these motherfuckers are fake. Like, they got all those tattoos to look like who the fuck I am, you know? And so I'm like, this is my spot. It's done. I'm taking it right fucking now. And after the first fucking post I put on Instagram, I knew that I'm going to make millions and inspire a lot more people because my story was truly authentic. Like, what's most of these motherfuckers' real background story? What adversity did you truly overcome, motherfucker? And I'm not talking about surviving. I'm talking about thriving. Like, motherfuckers would write me in prison on Instagram and say, damn, dude, when someone on the streets would, like, trade for your position right now mentally to opposed to where they're at because they're just riddled with vices. They feel weak. They have no confidence. And I'm just posting, like, exactly what it's just when something's real and authentic and congruent and you know they fucking lived it, you just know they fucking lived it. And a lot of these dudes are trying to have like a hack. Like, hey, if I look this way and I do this and I do this, I'll be this. And it's like, no, what's your fucking story? Your story's dope. Your story's dope as fuck if you tell yours, motherfucker. And I teach people to put power back into their lives. Like my dad can't tell his story right. I could, but he can't. Why the fuck can't he? He could be like, man, since 17, I've worked as a plasterer. I put my fucking boots on every day. My heels are cracked from fucking just endless hours sweating and fucking just in the sun, San Diego just covered. But I got the heart from my son. I want to give my children the fucking world. But he don't tell himself that. So he has nothing. His power's gone because his internal dialogue and the story he tells his fucking self. And the thing is I don't do that. I pump my story up to me. If I told him his story like that, he would see how he's seen and his value. But he tells himself this, oh, I didn't make enough money. Like, oh, who am I? Like, I'm not this and I'm not that. You know, and that's the fucking problem. You're a beast. You're a dope-ass dude. You fucking put your heart into that shit. Like, and he don't see it. Yeah. And that's what all these people out here don't see. They don't tell their fucking story right. So there's zero power behind it. And if we know energy exchange is the language of the universe, if you don't have power behind your story, nobody fucking feels.